what the audience is waiting for was Dr. Swamy's speech. And now the floor is open to Dr. Swamy.
The President, are you chairman or president? Professor Vaidyanathan, of course the VHS Karnataka President Mikun Shah, and the former Karnataka VHS President Mr. Suresh N. Shakuntala Iyer and Jagdish Shetty. I'm privileged to be here on this very important expose on the corruption in a media channel, which has led relentless attack on anyone who's not subservient to the anti-national line, I will call, of being soft on Pakistan and distorting the meaning of tolerance. And now we find that they have committed a large number of frauds. Now, first of all, I'd like to say that in the introduction of Sri Iyer, the word of his enormous work in the field of software, including the testing of the brain. So Professor Vaidyanathan, myself and Sri Guru were discussing that can we foresee a brain transplant in the future? And for that we should ask people who are towards the end of their life to donate the brain as they donate eyes and so on. So Sri Iyer said, but your brain will not fetch any price. So I said, why? He says, much used, that's why. So as usual, Vaidyanathan said, then Rahul Gandhi's brain will fetch the maximum. Now, the issue today is, we are not brainlessly attacking the media. In fact, I must tell you that in coming to the correct conclusion about the NDTV, there was a journalist who has already excelled in expose of the 2G. 2G was really due to two people. One was a journalist of Pioneer newspaper, Gopi Krishnan, who is absolutely the epitome of a sannyasi. He's so simple, so straightforward. He still goes by auto rickshaw and very simple habits. And nobody can buy him. That much I have already seen myself. And then there was an officer who was the personal secretary of Raja, who risked his life to become a whistleblower for the CBI, Ashirvadam. And Ashirvadam is now one of the general secretaries of the VHS. Of course, he is also the documentation in charge for the BJP central office as well as all the other state offices that are going to be set up. So what we are in search of is not in numbers so much. It's the quality brain that can think about country's problems and develop a mindset where we can be proud of this country as a country which will not bend against pressure or will submit to defeat. And for that purpose, I give every time I meet any audience an example that power is not the ultimate aim. Power is a means to an end for a person who has the right mindset. If you are in a circus and you see 5 strong, well-fed lions, you will also see a thin ringmaster walking into that cage and ordering those lions to climb up a bench, jump through a ring, open its mouth so that he can put his head. And the lions obey. Those lions by instinct would tear apart somebody like that. Obey this thin ringmaster. That's because from the time they are cubs, they are trained to obey. And they don't know their strength. Because their mind has been set to obey. And that's why people used to ask me, your friend Manmohan Singh, why is he such a, why does he submit to Sonia Gandhi? Well, he is also a Singh, but he's a circus Singh. And Sonia Gandhi acts like a ringmaster or ring mistress, whatever. So, I say this is what the British understood and created this Macaulay, who changed our educational system to tell any amount of lies necessary to make you feel inferior. I know when I went as a student to America to get a PhD, I was 62. They still thought that Asians have tails. And they used to ask this kind of question. And they couldn't believe that in a class I would challenge Samuelson that the theorem he was writing on the board will lead to a wrong answer because he had made a mistake. But the greatness of Paul Samuelson was, first he came where I was sitting and said, what did you say? I said, you have made a mistake and you will not be able to prove this theorem. So then he asked me to come to the blackboard and show him the mistake, which I showed him. And then he said, all right, after class you come to my office. Now my classmates, when I sat down, told me, have you bought your ticket to go back to India or not? Because now you're finished. When you go there, he will say, you're out. Instead, Samuelson appreciated what I said and said, you and I should become joint author, and together we wrote the theory. That's what teachers are supposed to do. They're supposed to encourage their students to question. The questioning mind is the most important thing for a democracy. And here in our country, we don't question. In my party, people say, why are you questioning the GST? Because there are some bad things in it which had to be corrected. I had lost my professorship at IIT only because I said that Soviet socialism will never work in India. We need market economy. We don't need to take foreign aid. We can produce the atom bomb. I wrote this all in a book. And Mrs. Gandhi then read out the book. In Parliament, she was holding temporary charge of finance. At the budget debate on 19th March 1970, she read out the book and said, here is this man coming from America and telling us all this, and on state expense, which is IIT was, of course, government run. He's a professor in our country. What must he be doing to our students? And a few days later, I was out on the street, dismissed by a one-line order. A full professor of the IIT dismissed by one-line order. That effective from 5 o'clock, and the letter was delivered to me at 5:15. Effective from 5 o'clock, you are dismissed. And I told when I went and met the director, he said, how can you dismiss a full professor like this? He said, well, I got orders from the top, you go and fight in the court. I did fight in the court. After 22 years, I won the case. I returned back to IIT, took charge, and told them that tomorrow I am resigning because I am a cabinet minister, so I can't, perform the duties of a teacher. And anyway, I don't want to sit with you people. But you owe me salary for the last 22 years at 12% interest rate. Had I been a professor for those years, I would never have earned so much. But of course, the IIT is now negotiating with me, even now, saying that not 12%, maybe 5%. So no, I will raise it. Every time you say this, I'll raise it to 12, 13, 14. And I got that in court and I'll win it. I'm delaying it because the longer I delay, the more money I will get. And in between, in 1974, the Johnson sent me to Parliament. Then this emergency happened. Then I contested from Bombay and won and became member of Parliament from Bombay. And Moraji became Prime Minister. And the first thing he told me is it not fact, did I remember that IIT dismissed you from professorship? I said, yes. This is 1977. So he said, I am going to appoint you on the board of governors of IIT. So I said, but I'll have to sit with all those people who dismissed me. So he said, I have already dismissed all of them. There'll be a new board. So those who fight, there is some divine force which intervenes if you truly fight. That's the spirit of truth. People are all the time living in fear of what will happen to me. That must go. If something is wrong and you feel strongly about it, you take a stand. If you suffer, after some time you will get 10 times more than what you had before. That is called faith in your moral principles. And that is what Virat Hindustan Sangam is trying to inculcate. Now see, Sri Iyer, 37 patents, lives in a lovely place in San Jose, California. Now why does he have to bother about what's happening in India? I first came across this pgurus.com when the congressman was started screaming in Parliament because of the Augusta helicopter. He had published an analysis in which everything was there. And the congressman quoted this, that the dangerous, this is a sedition, this is sabotage, blah, blah. And so he started writing analysis. And this book is an example of that. Now, let me say one thing. We are not against journalists. I know there are many journalists. My own daughter is a journalist. I know the Hindu newspaper, which is left of center, and they don't share my ideology at all. But I know them personally. They are totally incorruptible, I can say. They are, as I told you, give you the example of Gopi Krishna, totally upright. There are a large number of such journalists. But the dominance has come for the corrupt elements in our society to capture the media, to manipulate the minds of the Indian people. And I'll say anything. Once I gave a speech in Varanasi Hindu University, and I said that people don't realize that Ravan was a Brahmin, and a Kshatriya killed him, namely Lord Rama. And the Brahmins didn't say, oh, this man killed a fellow Brahmin. All worship Rama. That's Hindu society. And you know what the Times of India published? It said, Swamy said to the BHU students that Ravan was a Dalit and that's why he stole Sita. Totally different. Now you see what impression it will create. The Dalits will probably come in a demonstration outside my house. That is done deliberately. But then you see, I have learned law. So I finally gave them a notice and said, give me 10 crores. Now, after that, the Times of India apologized and put saying that we made a mistake. So how can you make a mistake like that? But they do. Now, I went the other day, over 2-3 days ago, to the Supreme Court on Ram Mandir. What did I say? The court said the other parties, the Muslim parties, first complained that I had not given them notice. I said, why should I give notice? You are on for property. I am for my fundamental rights. And fundamental rights is superior to the right to property, because right to property is an ordinary right. But my right to pray, my right to my faith is a fundamental right, so it's superior. And therefore you have to give me precedence. For 26 years, the Allahabad High Court considered a suit which was filed in 1949. And that too because of an order of the Supreme Court. And they finally gave a judgment in 2010. These people came and appealed because the Muslim parties lost their case. They came and appealed. And since 2010 till 2017, not a single hearing takes place. Why? Because it's a sensitive matter. Maybe it's a sensitive matter, but it's got to be settled. And my argument has brought urgency to the question. So they said, no, but he's not a party. So the court asked me, they say, you're not a party, are you a party? I said, of course I'm a party, I'm a superior party. You have to give me a precedence. Then they said, we are already overloaded, and that's the truth. There is, a fight between our government and the judges on the appointment of judges, and in which I think my government is wrong. And I told this to Narendra Modi myself. Why are you fighting with the judges? They want a national judicial, you want a national judicial commission. They want majority in it, give them the majority. And the committee of 5, 3 will be judges, 2 will be 1 prime minister, 2 leader of the opposition. So this 5-member committee will select the judges. Now, do you mean to say if the prime minister objects to an appointment, the other 3 will outvote him? So all that the judges want is the majority should be with them. And I believe, having been law minister, that is the correct way to do it, because when I had power, absolute power in 1991, to appoint anybody I wanted, at that time I knew this could be used subject to misuse. And a lot of people who don't deserve to become judges, because they were favorites of politicians, they were being appointed. So there should be some filter process. Now anyway, the issue is that we need a cooperative system where this country can only function by consensus. But the consensus should be something based on some human decency, some morality. What did in this Ram temple thing, what do the Muslim parties say? They admit that Ram Janma Bhoomi was the property of Hindus before the Mughals came. That they cannot deny. It was the property of Hindus. But they say that we captured it. And by adverse possession it has become ours. 500 years we have got hold of it. So it's ours. That means the Muslim party are saying that the Mughals did whatever they did, we are the beneficiaries of it and we welcome it. Can you have an adjustment with that? Moreover, let me tell you, according to our faith, if we believe that Ram was born at a particular place and build a temple on it, then after Prana Pratishtha Puja, the God enters that temple and he becomes the owner. No individual can be owner of a temple. We can be trustees, but we can't be owners. And therefore, this temple, once made, is always a temple. What is the position of masjids? The masjid, according to Saudi Arabians, whom I consulted, according to Qataris, Iranians, all the Muslim countries, a large number of them are consulted, they say masjid is a place to read namaz and no more. Masjid can be shifted or even broken or destroyed for a public purpose that they also practice in their country. The Saudi Arabians demolished a masjid which was built on the direction of Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, and demolished it and built a complex for visitors for Hajj, including a bathroom. And when the UNESCO protested, saying, at least you should have left this hoary ancient masjid alone, they said, are you teaching us idol worship? We don't believe in idol worship. We believe namaz can be read anywhere, even on the road, in your drawing room, in an aeroplane. And all that masjid does is provides a facilitation centers for people to congregate and nothing more. That is, the masjid can be shifted. And I said across the Saryu River, where the Ram Janmabhoomi ends, one of the banks of the Saryu River, the Ram Janmabhoomi ends, across that you can have land and build your masjid. And they say, no, we want that spot where Ram was born, because the Mughals had captured it, and we accept that. If they don't come to reason, I know what is to be done. April 2018, BJP will get majority in the Rajya Sabha also. And like Rajiv Gandhi for Shah Banu brought legislation to undo a court judgment, we will also bring a legislation not only to build Ram Temple, but Krishna Temple in Mathura and Kashi. We have not named Virat Hindustan for no reason. We could have named it Virat Hindu Sangha. A lot of people said, why? I said, no. Any Muslim who accepts that his ancestors were Hindus, those we consider the Hindustanis, and one of us, we have the same ancestors, both have Hindu ancestors. And that's the truth, because the Journal of Genetics in several universities, including the University of Cambridge, University of Mysore, and the University of Houston in the United States, says that Hindus and Muslims have the same DNA, which means that their ancestors are Hindus. Muslims accept. Yes, in private they all accept. But one day Farooq Abdullah told me, my ancestors are good Saraswat Brahmins. So I said, why don't you say it publicly? He said, are you mad? The mullahs will kill me. And second, I must tell you, where the Muslims are in minority in any country, they behave according to the majority behavior. Where they are in majority, there is no doubt. Saudi Arabia is in majority, no temples can be built, no Diwali can be celebrated, nothing can be done. You can't even carry Ramchandraji's photo in your pocket. You can't do Satyanarayana Puja inside your house. They are very clear, their mind is clear. Our mind is not clear. We are always confused, like Arjuna was on the battlefield, put down his armory and said, how can I kill my brother? And in the middle of the battle, then Krishna had to explain to him. So therefore, we have to understand this collective psychology of the Islamic community. In Saudi Arabia, no place for minorities. No temple, out of the question. In Australia, United States, they are in minority. But there, Australia says, uniform civil code. All Muslims agree. One mullah one day said, no, it's better we have Sharia. So the Prime Minister said, you want Sharia, go to another country. This country will not get anything except uniform civil code. And next day, all Muslim groups passed a resolution, sent it to the Prime Minister. This mullah is an idiot. We all want uniform civil code. They can accept it there. They can accept it there. But they won't accept it in India because here the majority is not united. And therefore, Muhammad himself recommends in Sirah and Hadith that where the majority, non-Muslim majority is not united, they push and push and push. Where they are united, the majority, surrender. It's called al-taqiyya. So what is the message to be drawn? Somewhere we have to tell them that this far and no further. In Uttar Pradesh elections, 20% of the population is Muslim. The BJP couldn't find a single candidate who Muslims said no harm, all Hindu candidates. And we won even in Muslim areas because the Muslim women voted for us. There are 115 constituencies where Muslims are a dominant factor in the elections, even though not majority. We won there without setting up a single Muslim candidate. Because the Muslim masses, when they are not under the supervision of the mullahs, radical mullahs who are probably financed by the outside forces, they are people who want to live in peace. I met so many Muslims who say, we are ready. We only want a masjid in Ayodhya. And you have already found a way. But the mullahs say, this is the beginning of the end. They will start like this. Of course, there's no doubt that we are not going to stop with, as I said, with Ram Parliament. In fact, I met these, on the urging of the Supreme Court, I met these Muslim parties and I said, I am giving you a Krishna package. They said, what is Krishna package? I said, 40,000 mandirs you broke and build masjids on it. We don't all want it all back. 3 we want. Mathura, Ayodhya, and Kashi Vishwanath. So they said, how is this a Krishna package? I said, Krishna during Mahabharata war went to Duryodhana and said, you have Hastinapur, you have Indraprastha, but give 5 villages. But that idiot didn't realize and he said, no, I will not give even the space of the tip of a needle. And he lost his life, he lost Hastinapur, he lost Indraprastha. So with you also, give this 3 or all 40,000. So all this is possible if this country, if our country does not have corruption. Corruption is a cancer. How? First of all, what does corruption do? Supposing I have floated a tender for a building of a road as a minister, and somebody who can't win the tender because he doesn't have the necessary materials or the expertise it's like in the 2G. Similar thing happened. The non-telecom companies got spectrums. So he pays a bribe to the minister and said, you manipulate the tender so that I get it. And the minister does it, he gets his money, and the inferior party gets the tender. And what happens? The roads are built and there are potholes. In one rainfall, potholes. We build the best roads in the world. In Malaysia, Nigeria, Iraq. In Iraq, we built such a first-class road during Saddam Hussein's time from Basra to Baghdad, that George Bush said, I never knew that Saddam Hussein could build such good roads. Well, he didn't build such good roads. He contracted with the Indians and we built it. But in our own country, we can't build roads. Bombay is supposed to be the richest city in India and perhaps all of Asia, and you find every road has big potholes. Why should it have potholes? Because of this corruption. You get substandard goods, adulterated goods, if there is corruption. 2, with this money, what does a man do? Part of it, he engages in luxury consumption, buys a big property, builds a lovely house, and part of it he puts it abroad for safekeeping. And we have put 120, today Indians have 120 lakh crore, that's 1 trillion practically, of $1 trillion abroad, all salted away there. And how does it go there? It goes there by contacting a local Hawala agent. And that Hawala agent then goes to Dubai and sits with his laptop and types your account number. If you don't have an account, he'll create one for you and give you a numbered account. And then he sends that message to another Hawala agent in Switzerland or in Cayman Island or wherever, saying that I have got this in rupees, please deposit an equivalent amount in dollars in this account. There's only one condition in Dubai for conversion of money, and that is Mr. Dawood Ibrahim must be informed of the transaction. And Dawood Ibrahim being informed of the transaction means ISI is informed of the transaction. And if the ISI is informed of the transaction, they know which minister, which important public figure is got an illegal bank account abroad. Look at the blackmail power. Very often I wonder when our politicians make statements in favor of Pakistan, why are they making it? Invariably it is Mr. Chidambaram recently said that Kashmir is going finished. Who was encouraged by that? All the militants. There's no way Kashmir can go anywhere. We have got enough troops to finish the whole of Kashmir if necessary, but Kashmir will be part of India. Nobody can take it away. But why is it that Mr. Chidambaram made this statement? Because he is compromised. That is why. Why Sonia Gandhi can't make any statement on Kashmir, a tough statement? Because she's compromised. All those who have black money abroad are compromised. If your politicians are compromised, how can you fight a war if tomorrow it comes? We are being bled every day. We have to take a side. Whatever you may say about BJP's performance, one thing is in these 3 years, they have not been able to bring out a single corruption case against anyone on earth. Whereas I've got Sonia Gandhi arrested and taken bail on the National Herald. She's on bail today with a 50,000 rupee bond and Anthony as surety. So is Rahul Gandhi. And Chidambaram, on Monday, the matter is coming up Supreme Court. I'm hoping to send him very soon to Tihar jail. He accused all of us of being Hindu terror. Now I'll show him what Hindu terror really means. So this is the second effect. Third effect is, with my money, I start investing in large property. Property prices shoot up. Build luxuries with all kinds of marble, air conditioning, etc. All the luxury goods, industries, profit starts shooting up. At least 25% it is today the rate of return on luxury goods. And as a consequence, future investment, why they should go making goods for the common man? When you get 5% return on your rate of return on your investment, they shift that money to luxury goods production. That's why today 5-star hotels are built all over the place and it's always full because people are using black money there. If we had done better planning, I'm sure that this demonetization would have worked much better. But the fact is there was no planning and the finance ministry is guilty of that. And that's why its effect has been minimal, but fortunately Modi ensured that it didn't lead to a major setback for us. But we will fight the black money issue. We're not going to let go. And the issue for you today that you have to know is that this corruption has distorted your investment priorities from the common man's goods to luxury goods. The black money has gone into the agricultural sector, wholesale market, and they are rich, corrupt people have bought it and put it in cold storage, so there's an artificial storage. That's why agricultural prices are going up and down. There's no reason for agricultural product prices to go up today, yet it is going up because of the hoarding that takes place thanks to the forward trading that rich people are able to do. So therefore, your national security is compromised, your investment priorities is hurt, you you're unable to take tough decisions, and you get substandard goods, adulterated goods, all because of corruption. The only way to fight corruption is 2 or 3 ways. First is that you must catch big people first, not police constable, clerk, and so on. Catch the big people. Then everybody will say, if they can be caught, I can also be caught. That fear will come. So that's why I'm concentrating on big people. People say, oh, you're all the time chasing Sonia Gandhi. After a poor woman, she's trying to be a good bahu in our country. She wears a sari, she puts a bindi. So I say, I'm no fool. Because when Ravan came to kidnap Sita, he came dressed as a sannyasi. So the issue is this, I am not after them because of any personal spite or anything, because I think that sends a message down the line that you are not safe. And automatically, as the old saying goes, Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, the rest of the people will start changing. And therefore, we have to set an example at the top. One way is this. Second way, well, there are many ways, but I'll tell you the most effective way, which I'm persuading our government to do it, but we haven't got majority in the Rajya Sabha, we are not able to do it. But we will do it. One way, before I tell you the real effective way, is the way the Germans did. The Chancellor Merkel found that she got intelligence information that our neighboring country, Liechtenstein, is running a secret numbered bank accounting. And many German officers are keeping money there. So she took a trip to Liechtenstein, told the king, we want these names, please give it to us. So the king said, listen, this is our main business. And if we can't maintain confidentiality of name, can't keep names confidential, nobody will put money and we'll be ruined. So she went back and then called a meeting and said, what shall we do? So one senior official suggested, why don't we bribe the senior-most financial officer of the bank and make him give us a CD of all the names? So that, he may want some high price and we should pay. So she said, good idea. Give him whatever he wants. So they contacted the senior-most financial officer of the Liechtenstein bank and said, we want these German names and any price you name we pay. So he said, I want $500 million. 2, I want a US citizenship and passport. And 3, I want plastic surgery done to my face. So nobody will be able to recognize me in America. So he said, okay, all 3 were done. But he said that I cannot give you only German names because I'll just download the whole thing into a CD and you select your German names out of there. So the Germans, they got the CD, separated the German names, but found that people of 22 countries had bank account in Liechtenstein. So Merkel wrote to all these 22 countries, would you like to have a copy of the names of all your citizens who are having a secret bank account in Liechtenstein? 21 countries immediately replied, we are sending our ambassador to your foreign office to pick up a copy. 1 country did not reply. And I know who you know who it will be. The government of India, Mr. Manmohan Singh, totally frightened. He doesn't have an account, but he's frightened because, Sonia Gandhi might give him a whack. So therefore, he kept quiet. Finally, we went to the Supreme Court. I and Jetmana went to the Supreme Court and got a direction issued. And that's how the names have now come back. But even our government has not yet opened that sealed cover. Somebody is nervous, I think, in our government. So, I think you people are more intelligent than I thought. But I know that will come. But the most effective way is to pass a legislation. Why I said I have to wait till we get majority in the Rajya Sabha. Pass a legislation that in these 70 countries which have secret banking, any Indian citizen has an account, that account is hereby nationalized, and that country's government has a responsibility to give us not only the money in that bank, but all the details of the bank. And this is what supported by a resolution passed in 2005 by the United Nations called, it was a convention on corruption. And this resolution said that any country which passes this resolution, they will immediately, the United Nations will immediately intervene with these countries and ensure that it is complied with. Egyptians have done it. They got Marcos's money. Not Marcos, that fellow, what's his name, the Italian guy? Mubarak's money. Then same thing with Gaddafi. The Libyans have got the money. And Marcos' money in Philippines, they've got that by this route. We can also do it. So therefore, I'm just waiting till we are in a position to do it. The Prime Minister told me that he didn't know about this, so asked me a note. I've given him a note. But we have this question whether we can get it through the Rajya Sabha, because a lot of people in the Rajya Sabha will also be affected. This, by the way, is my 6th term in Parliament. This would have been my 8th term, but for the EVMs used by Sonia Gandhi against me in Madurai, which then I went to Supreme Court, convinced the Supreme Court that the machine can be rigged, and I got it corrected. So if anybody wants to know whether there's any possibility of rigging in any part of this last 5 states, not possible after my measures have been implemented. So anyway, the issue is that I know many of them. They have accounts. And we need to get this 120 lakh crores back, which means how much? 30 times the income tax revenue. So if for 30 years I can abolish income tax because I'm getting this money, then all of you will be very happy because you don't have to pay income tax. Income tax anyway is being covered by 2G spectrum scam auction. So you don't have to worry that you have to wait for that. If I have a right by a signature to abolish income tax, I'll do it first thing, because it's the most horrible tax. People in agriculture don't pay at all. No income tax is paid for agricultural incomes. In the non-agricultural sector, you have poor people who are below the line, they don't pay. Then the people who are very rich, they've got chartered accountants to tell them how to write expense accounts and so on and so forth. I think you are an expert in black money. No? So, therefore, it's this middle class, young professionals who are trying to make it, who get harassed by these people. And therefore, I think this country's rate of saving will boom if we abolish income tax. So corruption must be got rid of as a social evil, as a evil which is a cancer on our society. Not because this is the way to settle scores with anybody. It is something that will immediately increase our growth rate from the present 7 or whatever percentage to 12, 13. And if we grow at 12% for 10 years continuously, we will overtake China and teach America a lesson through our ability to educate. So that is the key factor. And what we feel is that the information that we make available should be available to the public. There the media comes. But if the media itself is corrupt, then what do we do? And I think I rely on the good sense of the honest components of the media and encourage them to show that the corrupt ones will be caught and punished. And that's why this book has been written. I strongly recommend that you read it and congratulate Sri Guru, Sri Iyer. They're all Iyers there. She's an Iyer. And this is what Vaidyanathan Iyer told me. He's also an Iyer. I'm also an Iyer. I'm also an Iyer. At least that's what I was told when I was born, that I'm an Iyer. And there's one to now his daughter-in-law is an Iyer, so Vaidyanathan has anointed me. Jagdish Shetty also is an Iyer. And Nikun, of course, looks like an Iyer. Anyway, these things don't matter at all. All these castes, varnas were built for division of labor, for decentralization of economic power, and not birth-based. I say again, all our DNA is the same. Whether we are scheduled caste or Brahmins, the DNA is the same. That's what the DNA studies say. And if you educate the scheduled caste, there will be no different from anybody else. Ambedkar was educated because he had a Brahmin teacher. He took his name also. By the way, Ambedkar's original name is not Ambedkar. His teacher was called Ambedkar. And he said, "You are a very bright boy. You must go to America and get the best education. But there will be a lot of problems you'll have, so you change your name from Mahar to mine." So that's how he became Ambedkar. Ambedkar's own wife was with us in the party in the 70s, and she herself told me that. Savita Ben Ambedkar told me this. And he went to Cambridge, to Columbia, got a PhD in economics, a very wonderful thesis. When written, 1916. I know the prejudice in the United States against Asians in 62. What it must have been in 16, but he sparkled there, got a PhD, went to London, got a law degree, and came to India. Sardar Patel made him chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution, produced a first-class Constitution by piloting these bills and amendments and so on. It's very hard work, which he did. But till 1990, till the Janata came back to power, he did not get the Bharat Ratna. And Sardar Patel got it under my signature. I remember in 1991 when Chandrasekhar asked me, "You should do this." I looked at the list and found Sardar Patel name missing. I told Chandrasekhar, "Yeah, tum jhut bolte ho," he said. It will not be possible. I showed him the list. Then, under my signature, I sent a proposal to PM. PM cleared it. And for the first time in 1991, Sardar Patel got Bharat Ratna. Congressmen complained that we are stealing all their idols or their icons. Well, you didn't give this Bharat Ratna to Sardar Patel. How can you say he's yours? In fact, I looked at the files and found that the Bharat Ratna was given from 1954. And the first person who got it was Jawaharlal Nehru. And the file it was written, "I, Jawaharlal Nehru, recommend the name of Jawaharlal Nehru." This is what the Nehru family is. He was a scheduled caste. So therefore this distinction. That is why we talk about Hindutva, the dominant DNA message we want to deliver. Thank you very much.
Dr. Subramanian Swamy avarige.
Master democracy. If you are whenever we need this Karnataka people here under the banner.